how things develop there. But so today, I was thinking that we would talk a little bit or practice and play around with a type of yoga called Kundalini yoga. So we'll mix it up with some of the regular stuff. But Kundalini yoga is something that there's many different branches of yoga that go in different directions and have different focuses. And I've really been playing with Kundalini yoga for many years, but specifically during this time of COVID, I've really found it useful. And so let me just give you a little bit of background about what Kundalini yoga is. It's the Sanskrit word Kundalini means coil. So the idea is, it's just a concept obviously, that we have this snake coiled at the base of the spine. And the idea is that it's dormant, it's sleeping, and we need to energize it in order to wake it up, and so that it then starts moving up the spine and working through the different energy centers through the body, right? And the idea is that once we energize that snake, once we get the energy centers active, it means that we can detoxify. It allows us to get rid of the stagnant energy in our bodies. It wakes us up both physically and also maybe spiritually is the idea as well. So the idea with Kundalini is that there are some poses that there's kind of two parts to, and it's fairly rapid and it creates a lot of energy and movement, and it works with the breath as well as the movement. So we'll play around with a few of those. If you love it, great, there'll be a few of them. If you don't particularly connect with it, that's okay too. We'll be mixing it up with regular yoga as well. So just so you know. So we're going to start just tuning in. We're going to find a way to sit up tall, shoulders relax down, the shoulder blades come towards each other at the back, and you can just close your eyes here. So just pausing for a moment and just getting yourself centered. So regardless of what's going on around you or going on in your life, or just finding that center, that groundedness, that connection with the earth, and allowing yourself just to bring yourself into this space, your focus, your attention. And then we're going to bring the attention just to any sounds that are around you. They might be close to you, they might be further away. They might be pleasant sounds or they might be unpleasant. Just observing them. Notice if you feel any breeze on your skin, maybe from an open window, or if you're outdoors. And then just bringing your attention to the breath, slowing it down and breathing through your nose. You're just really trying to elongate the breath, filling the belly, the lungs, or the belly and the chest, and all the lungs, so they just fill up with air as much as they can until you can't take any more air in. And maybe notice the pause at the top of the breath. Maybe you could sip a little bit more air in, and then exhale, letting the breath out. And you can repeat that 2 more times. Inhale, filling the lungs completely in the front body, in the side body, and at the back body, just filling all the spaces you can slowly through your nose. And when you can't take any more air in, pause for a moment. And then maybe sip a little bit more air in if you can find the space. And exhale, slowly control through the nose. One more time at your pace. And when you're done, just pausing here. And then you can gently open your eyes, removing anything you're sitting on, switching the cross of your legs. If the legs feel uncomfortable, you can also kneel. You don't have to have your legs crossed. So with this Kundalini yoga, we're going to do it, they're usually two-part movements. So in this case, some of you have done this with me before. You're inhaling, reaching up, and exhaling, bringing it down. And we do quite a few. We might try and work for a whole minute. So your arms might start getting tired. You might be ready to stop, and you can stop anytime you like, of course, or you can work through it. You can also, if you like, you can think of the sound sat as you reach up and nam as you come down. So it just means, we talked about it last class, it means I am the truth, or the truth is within me, something like that. It's just something to focus the mind on as well as the breath. So we're going to reach up tall. You can do this with eyes open or closed. If they're open, imagine that your gaze is up at your third eye center. Okay, so we're going to get started. And then bringing the arms down, inhaling one more time, holding the breath in, squeezing in the pelvic floor muscles, maybe bringing belly in towards the spine. Close the eyes for a moment, holding the breath, and when you're ready, just letting it out. So just closing the eyes here, noticing how you feel with just those simple movements. Now, if you find the breathing too much, you can slow everything down. You can even just stay in one pose and then move to the other, but just slowly with slow breaths. So just listening to your body or to your lungs or to whatever, just finding what works for you. So you can open up the eyes. This time we're bringing the fingers on the shoulders here. And we're just going to move with the breath. So we're twisting. So you're trying to twist the torso, and each time it's inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So again, it's fairly rapid, so we'll give it a go. Last one, and then inhaling in Holding the breath, squeezing in the pelvic floor muscle. The belly goes in towards the spine. Hold it here until you need to take a breath. And then we're just going to pause and just notice how you feel. You might feel a little lightheaded. Taking long, slow breaths through the nose. So we're now going to extend through the legs. So the feet come forward. You can do this with bent knees if you need to, or with straightened legs. We're going to reach forward. So we're going to inhale and exhale like this. So it's just finding somewhat different movement, okay? So just playing with that. And we're just going to work with a couple more kriyas. That's the two-part poses, and we'll move into regular yoga after that. So let's play with this. The toes are activated, they're not just kind of hanging there. Excellent. And we'll go. Last one. Hands can come down, sitting up super tall, closing the eyes. Slowing the breath down, letting things settle. So we're going to come up into a bit more of an active one. So there's lots of different kriyas. But this one we're going to bring the knees out, so it's kind of like in frog pose. At least that's what it's called in Kundalini Yoga. The knees are coming out, heels are together. You can have hands at heart center. So what we're going to do is we're going to inhale and come into a forward fold, and exhaling, coming back into frog. So there's quite a bit of movement. If you need to, you can grab onto some blocks and or books or whatever you have at hand, and you can also do it like this. So it doesn't have to, or you don't have to come all the way down to the ground. Now again, if this is too much, you just find your own. You can hang out here, and then you can hang out in forward fold. So you don't have to do the kriyas if it seems too much and it feels too much for you on your breath, on your chest, or in your head if it's a bit, if you feel a bit lightheaded. So play with what feels good for you. So ready? We're inhaling up into a fold and exhaling back down into frog. Let's go. Chest comes forward when you come down. And just paying something here. It's a lot of work on the legs, a lot of work for the whole body. So you can pause here. If you want, you can come down and forward. So you might come down onto the forearms, bringing the chest forward. If this doesn't work for you, you can bring your hands higher up. You can come down onto your knees, finding something that works for you. And then slowly coming on up, we're going to come onto hands and knees. And we're just going to work cat-cow here. So again, we're moving, it's almost like a Kriya, because it's got two parts, but you can move at your own pace with your breath. Calming into a tabletop here. We're going to bring the right toes under, pressing that heel back behind you, finding length. So we worked with the wall recently, for those of you who were in class, and imagine that you're pressing that heel back against the wall behind you. And then you can lift up through that foot, flexing the toes, opposite arm if it feels good. So finding length through the neck, so it should be in line with your spine. Fingertips moving forward, heel back. Hand then is going to come down. We're going to bend through that knee, press the heel or the foot, the ball of the foot and the whole of the bottom of your foot up to the sky. And exhale, bringing the knee in towards the chest. We're going to step it through between the hands. You might need a little help. Give it a little help. And you're pressing the hips forward. Inhaling, reaching the arms forward. We're going to come into archer's pose. So what happens is the right arm is going to remain forward. Left arm is so you're pulling a bow back. The elbow is sticking up, the thumb is up. And so you're in archer's pose here. Breathe in here. You can look to your left, or you can look over that the right fingertips. Your choice. Now from here, you might want to give it a go. You might find it's too much. So listening to your body. You're pressing on the top part of your foot and lifting through the knee. So it's quite intense. Notice how that feels. Taking a couple of breaths. You can always drop that knee back to the ground. One more breath. Knee comes down. Hands are going to come forward. Now we're going to switch to the other side. So we're going to bring the right arm back. So we're almost in a twist. So the thumb is up. We've got the hand in clenched, and the elbow is coming back behind you. You can look around that right elbow. Now, you can take the left elbow and tuck it over the knee. So I'm going to turn around and show you what I'm going to do on this side. We're going to then have the hand in a clench in a fist, and we're just bringing the other arm up. So it's like a ball and socket. Finding a twist here. Excellent. Taking a couple of breaths in your twist. You can always find a little deeper twist by lengthening through the arms. And then the hands are going to come down either side of the front foot. And you can lengthen through that front leg. Toes coming up. Right hip is coming back. Left coming forward, so you might need blocks or some variation. Taking a breath here. Excellent. One more breath. And then you can rebend the knee, and you can come into a pigeon. So you're bringing the front foot over to the side. Knee comes over. You're trying to keep the hips even. So you can always place something underneath your right butt cheek, but you don't want to be leaning over. So try to keep that even if it means being off the ground a bit more. Excellent. We're going to inhale, arms coming forward again, if you can, get them off the ground. And we're just going to open into that bow pose again, into that archer's pose. Looking over to the left side. arms coming back. And we're going to come over the other direction. Being gentle. It's a bit of a twist. Arms come back. We're bringing them down. And we're just going to come down onto the mat into a reclined pigeon. Pausing here. We did quite a lot of work, energetic work this morning. Just notice how that feels. And rather than letting your mind wander off, see if you can just keep it here in what's happening in your body. How does it feel? Is there any tightness? Can you let go? Breathe in and into any tight areas. And in fact, maybe seeing if you can imagine your breath going in between your shoulder blades, filling that part of your body. And then we're slowly going to find a way up, coming onto the right butt cheek, and just bringing the other knee in. So you kind of got both of your knees bent here. And we're just going to place the right hand down and just lift up through the hips. The arm is just going to come up, the left arm is coming up. You're getting a nice stretch across the left side body, getting even like a little back bend. Taking a couple of breaths here and sitting down again. You're going to take your left leg and bring it into the crease of your, in the crease by your hip. Now it might get there, it might not. So if it's not getting there, hang on a minute, you can just have it open. So sorry, the right knee is going to come back. You're going to bring, so the foot is coming back behind you now. You bring this up to the crease. If it doesn't get there, just leaving it in front is all good. So you may play with seeing if you can reach around your back and grab that toe. It might be way too much, in which case you just place that hand behind your back. The right hand coming on the left knee, and you're just finding a bit of a twist here. Your ear can move over to the right shoulder. So you're getting a little neck stretch, you're getting a little twist. Breathing here. And release. Calming onto hands and knees again. Finding a little bit of movement from side to side. You can move your hips quite a bit if you like. And then you're going to take your left foot behind you, tucking it, heel pressing back behind you as though it's pushing against a wall. Taking a couple of breaths and then lifting up through that leg. Opposite arm is coming up, reaching, feeling the length. Taking deep breaths. Right hand is going to come down, bending through that left leg, pressing the foot up to the sky, taking another couple of deep breaths here. And then we're bringing the knee in towards the face, rounding the back and stepping the foot through, pressing the hips forward, and you're going to reach the arms forward here. Excellent. Calming into our archer pose. So we're bending, we're bringing the fingers in, thumb stays up, and we're just pulling that arm back, elbow is up, and maybe looking around the right side. Breathing here. Strong archer's pose. Arms reach forward. Switching the direction. So we're coming into a bit of a twist here. The elbow is coming back, lifting up, so not letting it fall. And then if you like, you can take that right elbow and tuck it across that leg, bringing that arm into a fist, and then we've got your hand is coming up to help to cover it, and the elbow is coming up, opening up through the chest here. Nice twist, breathing deeply even though it's difficult in a twist, and opening through the arms here. Deep, slow inhales and exhales. Calming back to center. We're going to come back into that original side on the right side. I just remember that we need to lift up through that back knee, so it's quite challenging. Finding that pose if you can, if you want to. No pressure, can keep that knee down. You really notice where you feel the stretch or the work. Knee comes down, arms forward, coming down with the hands, and we're just going to lengthen through that leg, front leg. Left hip is coming back, right coming forward, finding some love for your hamstring, and breathing. If you want, you can come a little deeper towards that leg, folding over it. Re-bending through that front knee. We're going to open up through the hip, coming into pigeon pose. Remembering you can always come into a figure of 4 here, a seated figure of 4 if that's preferable to you. Just to give you an idea, it's that variation. Excellent. We're going to bring the arms out in front, and we're going to open up archer, coming in one direction. And then inhale, coming forward, archer in the other direction. Coming forward again, coming down, reclining over that front leg, letting the shoulders go, letting the jaw go. Seeing if you can keep your attention in this moment, even though it's difficult. Bringing it to what's happening right here, right now. Breathing deeply, especially into the area in the back, filling those lungs completely. And then slowly making your way up, we're going to come sitting down on that left butt cheek. The back knee bends, coming in, the left hand coming down behind you, and just lifting up through the hips. Right arm comes up and back, making a really nice long line from that left knee all the way up to the fingertips. Breathing here. And then coming sitting down. So we're just switching the cross of the legs here. The right toes are coming up, bringing it into the crease of your hip. If it doesn't work, it just comes in front of you and it's absolutely fine. Same thing, it's all going to work in a similar way. So your right hand can just come behind your back, or you can see if you can grab onto the toes. It's not a big deal if it doesn't work. Left hand comes to the right knee, and we're twisting towards the right. Left ear can come down to that left shoulder. Breathing here. And release. untwisting, unraveling, calming onto hands and knees. We've been playing quite a lot with pressing the feet, tops of the feet into the ground. We'll just lift up through the knees here to stay with that theme for a moment. Deep breaths. And the knees come down. You're going to tuck your toes and come into a downward facing dog. Bending knees as much as you would like. Trying to get length from those wrists all the way up to the sits bones. So you might want to work with that where you bend your knees a lot and then you work on straightening but keeping that length through the torso. So you could do that a couple of times. So it's more important to get a straight back than to get your heels to the ground. More important to get a straight back than to have straight legs. Excellent. And then just walking the feet up towards the hands, folding forward, maybe grabbing behind the shins, pulling yourself in, your torso towards the thighs, maybe shaking your head no, or nodding your head yes. Inhaling, arms are going to come up either side, flat back, as your knees are bent, and then straighten as you straighten everything, little back bend here, opening through the heart center, exhaling, hands to heart center here. Closing the eyes for a moment to pause. Now, if you have a strap or something resembling a strap, towel or anything, you can grab that. If not, there are variations, so I will let you know. We're going to step onto that left foot, squeezing into the right knee, finding length through the back. And then you can use the strap or the sweatshirt or towel and bring it around that right foot. If you don't have a towel or any variation to a strap, just grabbing onto the big toe, you can bend the knee as much as you want and just lengthen out in front of you. So those are your options. Breathing here. And then we're going to bring the left arm out to the side and move the leg over to the right. Again, your knee can be bent any amount. Finding this pose. Noticing maybe you're wobbling. That's okay. Bringing yourself back into center. Switching the hold of the strap so it's in the left hand. And you're moving it just across your body a little bit. Right arm coming behind you. Now, if this is too much, you just use a wall anyway. I've got the wall right here. But you can use a wall for support, no problem. Breathing here, finding your balance, or just with support, all good. Excellent. Then releasing through the strap. We're going to then lift back with that right leg, finding your warrior three, and stepping back into a high lunge so that back heel can lift. Inhaling, arms are going to reach all the way up, and then we're going to bring them forward again in front of us, coming into archer, twisting to that left side. Taking a breath here. Coming back through center, other direction. Really pressing your heel back behind you. Activating through the leg. Inhale, calming up. We're going to turn into a warrior two. So I'm going to just swivel here. Arms can just be out, palms out towards the front, towards the side rather. Knee is pressing left a little to protect the knee. And then we're going to reach forward here. Left arm coming down on that leg. Right arm can come up alongside the ear for now. breathing for a moment. And then we're just going to bend through that arm, bringing the hand behind the head, just leaning into that hand. So we're almost leaning back as though we're on a wall, but we're just leaning. It's more the head and the right shoulder that's swiveling open a little bit more. Taking another breath. And then inhale, coming on up. Turning the toes, the front toes inwards. We're going to come into a little side stretch here. So you're just reaching the left arm down that leg without too much pressure. Right arm stretching up. And again, you can bend through the elbow, leaning head back and just swiveling that right shoulder back a little bit. Taking a breath. Inhale, coming back up. Toes of the front coming forward again. We're coming into a half moon or a variation of it. So we're going to step forward. You can use a block or books if you like, or the wall if you've got some support. Lifting up through that back leg. Maybe the arm can come up. And if you want to play with a variation, you can bend through the knee, grabbing through the ankle. So there might be some wobbles. That's okay. Breathing here. And releasing, coming back, warrior two. Excellent. Turning the toes in. And we'll just heel toe the feet together. Hands to heart center. Just closing the eyes for a moment. Slowing the breath down, slowing the heart rate down. And then gently opening the eyes, grabbing a strap if you're using one, or variation. Bringing the knee in towards the chest, keeping that spine really lengthened. And then you can bring that foot out in front of you with the strap. Taking a few breaths here. And then opening it up to the side. So again, if you don't have a strap, just using your finger, you can always do it with a knee bent and open like this. So you've got lots of options. Finding this pose. Breathing here. And then coming through center. The right hand is now grabbing on to the strap. And we're going to move the leg just across the body a bit. And left arm can come back. So it's a bit of a twist. Taking a moment here. And then releasing through the strap. So I'm just going to hop over here. We're going to come forward. Warrior three, trying to keep the hips even. And stepping back into a high lunge. Lifting up through that knee, pressing the back heel back away from you. Inhaling, reaching up. And then bringing the arms forward. We're going to reach into Archer here, twisting. Notice how this feels. This is also a Kundalini pose. Breathing here. Inhaling forward and coming the other way. So we're going to then, stay where you are. We're going to then just place that back heel down, reach forward with that arm. We can come into this pose slightly differently than we did before. Arms comes down and up, finding that stretch. You can place the hand just behind the head, opening through that shoulder, just leaning back and finding some space, some lean in that left shoulder. Opening through the heart center. Inhale, calming up, turning the toes in, and we're just leaning over to the right side, finding a side stretch. And again, you can just place that hand behind the head, leaning back into it, finding some openness. It just changes the pose a little bit. And breathe. Notice how it changes it. Inhale, calming on back, finding that warrior two again, and you're going to come into your warrior two variation. Notice if you need any props, including the wall is fine as a prop here. Lifting up through that back foot, finding the balance. It's not so easy. Breathing here. And any variation you like, if you want to grab onto that ankle and press it back behind you to open up through the shoulder, that's also a possibility if it feels okay for your body. And just remembering everything takes practice. It's not that you can't do it, it just takes some time. So be patient and kind to yourself. Release, stepping back here. Warrior two, turning the toes in, and you can just heel toe the feet together, palms coming away from you, shoulder blades together or towards each other, and closing the eyes. Inhale deeply through the nose, exhaling mouth. Ha. Inhale nose, exhale mouth. You can be as loud as you want maybe. Ha, at least you're in your own tones. Inhale, exhale, ha. Great. And we're going to come down onto the belly. So we're just going to find our way down. Again, if you have your strap though, you might want to have it close by, but however that works. So you can choose how to work this. If you would like to use your strap or variation, you can use anything to pull your arms apart. So you're just first of all pressing the feet into the ground and lifting up through the chest. The arms are pulling apart the strap and lifting up. Breathe deeply here. And then if you want, you can add the legs in, lifting them up also. And release. You can bring your left ear to the ground and just relax here. You can bend your knees and windshield wiper your legs out from side to side, releasing through the lower back. And letting the legs go. We're going to come into part two of this. So you can repeat that if it feels good. Or if you'd like, you can bend through the legs, grabbing the ankles, if that works. And pressing back and lifting up. Knees squeezing towards each other instead of coming apart, which often is seen. So you squeeze them, they're not touching, but imagine you've got a block between them. And release. Other cheek and ear to the mat. Letting go. Again, you can bend through the knees and you can move them from side to side. Excellent. And dropping the legs down, bringing head into center. We're just going to roll onto the back. Excellent. So bringing the legs up, straight up here. So we're going to do one more kriya, and you can choose how to do this. If you want, what's most important is keeping your lower back to the ground, and we're going to be moving the legs up and down, so it's quite challenging. To make it a little bit more manageable, you might want to place your palms face down underneath your butt, pressing the shoulders into the ground and lifting up here with the legs. You can have bent knees here too, and you can also just work one leg at a time if 2 legs is too much. Well, we're going to give it a go. We're going to inhale as the legs come down and exhale as they come up. So let's go for it. Being careful with your lower back, this should not hurt at all. If it does, you just come out and just go slowly with this rather than doing long movement or quick movements. One more. And then knees come in, giving yourself a really nice hug. Noticing it, maybe it's challenging. Not always easy. Being there for yourself, giving yourself kindness, patience, compassion. And we're going to place the feet down about hips width distance apart. Maybe you can graze the backs of your feet with your fingertips, pressing shoulders into the ground. Inhale, lifting up through the hips here. Taking a few deep breaths, any variations you like. If you like to interlace your fingers, pressing shoulder blades into the ground, lifting up through the hips. Taking a few deep, deep breaths. Imagine you've got a block between your knees. So your knees are not touching, they're just moving towards each other. So you're engaging through your butt. And then releasing the arms, slowly coming down, one vertebra at a time. Excellent. Knees into chest, rolling from side to side. So if you would like to come into shoulder stand, that's one option. If you prefer just to come into happy baby, that's also another great option. So choosing what works for you, how your energy feels, how your body feels, what you feel like doing today. So if you're coming into a shoulder stand, bringing your elbows in towards each other and pressing the balls of the feet up to the sky. And you can come into any variation. You can bring the soles of the feet together, knees coming out, if that feels good. Or if you would like, you can bring knees either side of the ears. Or you can lengthen out the legs if you have room, coming into plow pose. So finding your pose, and of course, with happy baby, you've got lots of options here too. You can play with straightening a leg or the other, or both. So just listening to what you like to do, or if there's another pose that really speaks to you, find it, do it. So you've got a few minutes to play here, or a few seconds more like, but you've just got a short time to just play around with your poses. And then when you're ready, just slowly bringing it all down. We can place the palms face down underneath our butts. We're coming up onto the forearms here. And then lifting up through the chest as though we've got a strap around the chest, lifting us up to the sky. Head can come back if it feels okay. Otherwise, you could do it with the head lifted. If you want to make it a little harder, you can lift up through the legs. and releasing here, calming on down. So we're going to grab onto a strap if you have one, or again you can do this without. So we're going to come into a spinal twist. So either placing the strap or variation of a strap around that right foot, or you can just grab onto that foot with the left hand, sorry. So you're going to, because we're going to come into a twist. So we're going to be holding the strap with the left hand. The right arm can come out to the side. Shoulder of the right arm pressing down. Taking a couple of breaths here first of all. Activating through the toes of the left foot. In fact, you can even lift it for a moment if it feels good, just letting it hover for a moment here. Taking another 2 breaths. Left leg coming down, and then we're just going to move the right leg across the body and find that spinal twist. You can bring your gaze over that right hand, you can close your eyes. And breathe deeply here. Checking in with yourself. And notice where your mind is. Maybe it has gone for a wander. That's okay, but see if you can bring it back kindly, thoughtfully, compassionately, back to the present moment. There's so many things to notice and feel in this pose. Where do you feel the stretch the most? Which bits feel really good and comfortable? Which are feeling more challenged? How is your breath? How does the ground feel beneath you? What noises are in the vicinity? All of these things to focus your attention on. Inhaling, leg comes back up. And we can switch legs. So left comes up, right comes down. We're holding the strap with the right hand. And the right leg is just hovering. Left arm can come out perpendicular to the side of the body. And take a few deep breaths here. Right leg can come down. And we're just going to move the leg across the body, finding your spinal twist. Looking over the left fingertips if it feels good, left shoulder pressing onto the ground, into the ground. Maybe closing the eyes. Finding an inward focus. Deep, deep breaths. And we're slowing things down. Slowly bringing the leg back up to center, removing the strap, and just finding your Shavasana. The legs can just come out as wide as they want to. Toes can just fall to the side. Shoulders tucking a little bit, but the arms can just spread out as much as they want, palms facing up. Feel yourself melting into the ground. Letting go completely. You don't need to control your breath anymore. You can maybe scan your body from toes all the way up to the head. And just notice if there's any areas of tension still. And just see if you can allow those to melt away, or just at least imagine that any stress there just lifts out of your body and blows away in a breeze. And then allow yourself just to be. Finding a little bit of movement in your body. Maybe wiggling fingers or toes. Maybe also rotating through the wrists and the ankles. You can move your head over to the right side maybe, or over to the left. And then back into center, arms reaching overhead, finding length from fingertips to toes. And then you can bring yourself into a nice big hug, giving yourself an unconditional hug here. Being there for yourself regardless of what happens, having your own back. And then taking your right arm underneath your ear and turning onto your right side, coming into fetal position, just feeling the ground there beneath you, there to support you. And then you can gently press yourself up into a seated pose. You can cross your legs, come into kneeling. Find any pose that feels good and enables you to lengthen through the spine, sitting up as your tallest selves. And we're going to end the practice with some alternate nostril breathing. So you're going to use your right hand, use your thumb to block off the right nostril, your ring finger to block off the left. We're going to inhale for 4 through the left, hold for 4, exhale through the right for 4, and then we'll inhale through the same nostril, the right for 4, hold 4, exhale left 4. I will talk you through it. If you get lost, then create your own. So we'll get started. You can just rest your right hand on your thigh for the moment. We'll inhale deeply through both nostrils. Exhaling, letting everything out, releasing. One more time, inhaling through both nostrils. And exhaling, releasing everything. Bringing hand up to the face, blocking the right nostril. Inhale, left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Releasing the hand, just breathing through the nose slowly without the holds. And just notice how you feel. Your body, your breath, your emotions and your mind. Just observe, no judgment. And then bringing the hands to the heart center. Inhale, reaching arms in both directions and all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reaching all the way up. And exhaling, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bringing it in. Pausing here. Finding some gratitude for yourself, for taking the time for your body and for your mind. And maybe sending out some good vibrations to the rest of the world also. And then bringing hands up to the third eye center. Always a pleasure guiding you through your practice. Thank you all for being here. Namaste.